body is excellent. This is very rare. It's a rare find to find a vehicle that doesn't have any rust on it like this that was used in the wintertime. We got it out of the kind of the middle of the state of Nevada, and it seemed like it was well preserved, especially as the body and the chassis and underneath the body pretty much have some of the original paint on them still, underneath the fender wells and everything. As soon as we got it on the highway, we had engine problems, and we also had problems with the gear ratio of both the front and rear axles. So we obtained another complete Jeep, the same vintage, just to get the front and rear axle that were highway geared. And the tailgate. You're going to see a really nice tailgate, and some other little parts that we needed for this one. Now the highway speed that we can maintain now at about 2,500 RPM is about 65 miles an hour, which is fairly economical, decent highway truck. And surprisingly enough, it doesn't ride like a lumber wagon, which I had assumed. I hadn't driven one of these before. It drives very nice and smooth. You agree with that, Tess?
Yep.
You remember? Okay. Well, when we had problems with the engine, we pulled it out to rebuild it, and we decided to swap motors to upgrade on up to a Cadillac 500, because that was basically a bolt-in with the same pattern of Oldsmobile, Buick, and Cadillac. And we put a pile of new parts onto it. I'm going to guess probably about $3,000 worth of new parts, from carburetor, oil sump, and flywheel and clutch and all those parts, and having the tranny reconditioned before putting that motor back in. So it's totally been taken care of with the right stuff. Everything's been done correctly. Right now we're in the process of putting in some new gauges. We have new dash gauges, which is a speedometer, tach, fuel gauge, and a new fuel sending unit. And now we're putting in an oil pressure and water temperature gauge hung from a separate assembly on the ceiling inside the cab. When we cleaned out the cab, take a look back here. When we cleaned out the cab, the floor was in excellent condition. All we did was sand it down lightly, and we coated it. So the coating is down before putting down some carpet. Okay. I'm believing that the rear window and the windshield are both tinted slightly. The side windows are not. So that's original factory glass. At one point we have removed the box from the truck and realigned it and put new bushings in it, bolted everything back up so it's all nice and tuned. We have the custom rear bumper that came with the truck. As you can see, we've metal etched, we've sandblasted, metal etched primed the bumper and inside the bed and the tailgate. So they're ready for new paint. Now Tess, if you're game, show them the cowl piece. That's in excellent condition. And excellent condition grill. Okay, and this is the piece that's usually missing or rotted out on most Jeep Gladiator pickups. And this one here is in excellent condition. It's also metal etch primed. It's ready to bolt in after paint. We're thinking that you would probably opt for a light colored bed liner. And check out, of course, the tailgate. Tailgate looks good. We just took care of a few little details on it. Tess, hold up the aftermarket mirrors. We have aftermarket mirrors that we put on. They're excellent. They look good. And an aftermarket steering wheel, and it's up to you. If you don't like the steering wheel, leave the original one in, Back over here, we have the seat reupholstered. It's all new upholstery, red with plaid. And we have the door panels, brand new door panels. They're ready to go back in. Now Tess, maybe talk to them about the new paint options and the allure of presenting it for sale without the paint color on it right now.
As you can see, this Jeep is ready for paint. We're just waiting for you and your wife to choose the designated color.
Figure that's a selling feature. So when your wife is bugging you about having too many vehicles now, you could throw this one at her and say, honey, you pick the colors, we're good. Then she's involved. So if that works for you, go with it. Well, thank you very much. And you have any questions or thoughts on it, just give us a call. It'll be posted on this listing.